So like this is the basics of what I used to do for work.
Much of this stuff, so just gonna slowly add it in. Okay, so in the end I added it all and I've been stirring for a while now. This is just taking a sweet time to dissolve, but I guess that's just because it's cold and it's, well, it was probably quite a solid block because it's solidified from being a molten salt, so that makes kind of sense, but just keep stirring and it does dissolve. Okay, so I'm just gonna be filtering it by the classic, gravity filtration. Nothing too fancy, but it works, so hey. Now this stuff, I'm just gonna keep it in a nice bath of bleach so that it doesn't annoy anyone. And it neutralizes all the free cyanide, so that'll be good. So I've got my silver nitrate solution here. Oversaturation, because you can see it's crystallizing out. I'm gonna dilute that a bit. And what I'm gonna do is basically what I wanna do is I wanna use half of it to react with the silver, and then the other half to be as free cyanide. So let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna add some of this in here. You can see I got some nice silver precipitate. I'm gonna keep adding, and hopefully I'm gonna see if I can redissolve that. To be honest, I think I might need a bit more cyanide. Okay, so here's what I've been doing. I just got my silver solution, which is now turned black. I think it might have a bit of chlorine. Oh well, too bad. Yeah, just add it a bit drop-wise in. Oops, might have been a bit too much. And then I just stir until it dissolves. As you can see, after 30 seconds of stirring, it does all redissolve quite quickly. So that's a good sign. At first it was taking quite a long time. I think maybe it was because the oxide was taking a bit of time to react with the cyanide, because in such a basic solution it's gonna probably turn into silver oxide before it turns into silver cyanide, which probably takes a bit more time to dissolve, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just talking absolute garbage. Okay, so I think I'm gonna say that I've added enough silver nitrate to the solution. I mean, I only think I added about 2 grams of cyanide to this. Taking into account I didn't make very much. And I've added probably about 1 or 2 grams of silver nitrate to the solution. So I think that I'll do, because I do want to have some extra cyanide. And I mean, if I keep adding this until no more dissolves, then I've got no free cyanide. That's kind of a bad idea. Okay, so now that this solution's done, I still got a bit that won't dissolve, but I've had that ever since the beginning, so I'm just questioning whether it's soluble or not, so I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to get this away for storage. Okay, that's good. Another bucket. Neutralized. And then we get our nice amateur stopper. Okay, so now I'm going to proceed to attempting to plate. Now I ain't got nothing too complicated, so I'm just going to try and plate this chunk of silver. Now I haven't polished it up to perfection, but I've removed the old oxide layer and a bit of glue that I had there, so should just be a good test run. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by polishing the metal. So I got a solution of 20% hydrochloric acid, which will clean off any of the remaining oxides. And then I'll just wipe it off with a bit of tissue paper and then get some rubbing alcohol in there to remove all the fats from my fingers. Okay, so just grabbing this, dunking it quickly in there, give it a wee twirl. That's good enough. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm just gonna leave that there to dry off the alcohol, and I'm gonna get suited up. Okay, so this hasn't started up yet, but you can already see that there is a little bit of a silver coating on the copper. That's probably just a redox reaction between the two. It's pretty common. It's just like if you had a solution of silver nitrate. I'm not sure if this would continue on or if the silver layer would make it passivate, but anyway. So I've got here a nice 1.5 volt battery, and obviously I'm connecting the reducing side to the copper, well, the thing I want to plate onto. Positive side is the oxidizing side, and so that's connected to my two small pieces of silver out back there. Okay, very small, just two 1 gram things that I've connected up. So I'm making sure that only the bottom connects up, because if copper is being oxidized, then I have a risk of generating cyanogen gas, which I kind of don't want. Quite an obvious silver layer. Question is if it's is it growing or is it just superficial? Aha! If you look very, very closely to the silver, I'm pretty sure you can't see it on camera, at least not in this light, and if it doesn't focus, there are very small bubbles being generated, so that's a good sign. Let's give a couple minutes.
Okay, so today's the next day, and as you can see, the outer coating that it's left is a very nice silver color. You just get to focus right. It's if you look here, let's see where I can show you. Here, this area, I had it in kind of initially for like 30 seconds, and you can see that the silver color isn't quite as intense. It's a bit darker, and then the rest, which I just turned it around, and it's gotten a nice thicker layer. That's very nice, and I've given